Good morning, students. Welcome to this session. So in this today's session, we will go through the some part of what you can say the previous unit, that is managing the people in software environments, a small portion which is left. Then after that we will go to take some other concepts from the second what you can say the chapter from the same unit, that is working in teams. Okay, fine. So first one is for the managing people in software environments. Fine. So managing people in software environments. In that, first we will go through the concept called stress, and the second one is health and safety. Health and safety. Then the third concept, that is ethical and professional concerns. Professional concerns. Fine. So we have already gone through the concepts. So how the different scenarios will be there for the different what you can say the projects. Fine. How your team member is going to allocate the different people of the different mindsets. Fine. Every what you can say the mindset of a people will not remain same. Fine. It will be not same. So your team leader or the project manager has to balance that particular this thing. So then he has to manage the scenario and how it will be working, and he has to come up with the what you can say the best output or the best result for that particular project. Fine. So in this managing the people in the software environments, we have gone through the different type of what you can say the motivational this thing has been analyzed for the employee, how you can motivate your employee, how you can assign the work to those employees, how you can get it work done by them. Fine. So then we have already gone through what is the organization behavior. Fine. In the managing people in the software environment. So it is in the other type managing the people in organization, you can say it as. Fine. So in that case, so how you are going to manage the people, how the task has been assigned, fine, how they are getting motivated from the different type of this thing. So you are going to give incentives. It may be the salary hike, it may be the what you can say the promotion, or it may be the any kind of what you can say the respect to the judgment will be given. So there are different aspects need to be taken care by your project manager or what you can say the team leader. Okay, so because the different teams, they are dependent on each other, every team leader needs to coordinate or to communicate in a very well behaved manner. Then the employee under them also need to communicate, and they should be what you can say maintain a healthy environment in that project duration, so that it has come up with the best results out of it. So that is what is the main motto of your what you can say the motivation for the employees. So here we have we will go through in the same unit, we will go through some other concepts, that is stress, health and safety, ethical and professional concerns. So this all related to your what you can say the people, how you are going to manage by the project manager or the management or the team leader. So whoever have that authority, so they should be take care of all these aspects for their respective employees, you can say it as. Fine. So the first one is health. Stress. So there are what you can say the different obstacles will be there to achieve some objectives. Fine. So it may be what you can say the objectives may be in the form of what you can say the technical, the objective may be in the form of health what you can aspect or the health concern related to that employee, or it may be the different mindset. There are different type of obstacles, or in a team the members are not working together, so they do have a different opinion or the mindset. So that also one kind of atmosphere which will affect that the people. Fine. The stress is something so which you will feel. So fine. So that obstacles which you will come across. Fine. So there are different what you can say the reasons for this particular stress. So first one is the working hour. Fine. So you should keep, as a part of your team leader or as a what you can say the project manager, you should keep the optimal time for what you can say the best time, so that the employee should be working should work in a what you can say in an enthusiastic manner, so that you can get the good product out of it. So here, if you keep the 10 hours or 12 hours for an employee, the best what you can say the hour where he can work is up to 4 to 5 hours. Okay, if it exceeds that, you may not get the expected results because of this strain or stress or something. So you should what you can say need to maintain that. Okay, so as per one American project manager, what he is quoted, once a project gets rolling, you should expect the members to putting at least the 60 hours a week. Fine. And the project leader should must put or expect what you can say the in a many hours as possible. Fine. So there are some pressure in your what you can say actually on health also. Fine. In your on your families also. Fine. And it can be what you can say may released in a different formats. The good evidence for the productivity and the quality of output to go down when more than about 40 hours a week or are worked. So here and there is another survey which says that so that is the optimal time, or the what you can say the time where the employee you can get the best output from the employees for the working hours. So that is nothing but 40 to 45 hours for a week, so that you can get the best results out of your employees for that particular project. Fine. So that is what you can say the work timing. Fine. The duration or the hours where employee can work for an over a week. Fine. And sometimes the stress may be, so one is because of what you can say the time duration or the working hour. Fine. So then is next one is sometimes it is necessary to put an extra effort to overcome some temporary obstacle or to deal with an emergency. See, suppose for example, if we have set an ideal time 8 to 9 hours or 8 hours optimal time for per day. Fine. So sometimes there might be some obstacles comes in your what you can say the project, where you need to put where you need to dedicate yourself for the hard work, so that you can come up with the good result for it, or else you can come up with overcome that particular what you can say the problem. So in that case, you need to give extra time, you need to put extra effort, you need to put what you can say the utilize your time knowledge in that case, so that you can come up with that. So once in a week, or when sometimes it will be okay as compared to your this thing, but if it has become a regular routine, fine, extra working extra or OT, the other what you can say the people will be working for apart from the other this thing, the regular timing. So then it will be leads to what you can say the health issues. So that may be the problematic in some cases. So working daily on the extra basis, because of some people they are interested in that particular this thing, they wanted to work, and some people they are doing the extra time because of the money need of a money or something. There may be the different reasons or something. So because of that, if it is in a sometimes a weekly twice or something, or monthly thrice, or so based on some that emergency or some declared, in that case if it is okay, then fine, no problem. But if it has become a daily routine, if you are working apart from your regular working hours, if you are working for extra time, so that will lead to an health issue, or it may also cause what you can say the stress to that particular person. Fine. So one is time duration. So in the time duration, the project manager has to what you can say, the choose an optimal time or the duration where his employee can work enthusiastically, and he can come up with the best solution for it. So that is what is the nature. Then another thing is working extra, fine, OT. So in that case, what you can say, the people, those who are working other time or the extra time they are working, so if it is in once in some duration, it will be okay. If it has become a daily routine, then it will be a problematic, and it may cause a stress to that particular employee. Then another thing which may cause your what you can say, the stress in the project duration is, the good project manager can reduce the reliance over the time by more realistic assessment of effort and elapsed time needed based on the careful recording and analysis of the performance of the previous projects. Okay, the project manager is held responsible for this. So in this case, he has to have a complete knowledge, at least this, about some knowledge, how much time is required to complete the task. He has to understand. So how much, what you can say, the pressurize your employee, he can understand, okay, how much what you can say, the employee can work harder and he can get the best output out of it. So that can be analyzed, and he should have a some, what you can say, the idea how it is getting done. Fine. So how many employees are required? What technology is required? So if you use this particular technology or tool, so how much time it will be taken? How much duration is required? So how much salary they are paying in that what you can say, the project or something. Everything your project manager or what you can say, the team leader has to have some idea where he can get the efficient work done by their employees. So that is what is required over here. Fine. So that is the responsibility of your team leader. So he has to have what you can say, the kind of a knowledge how the work can be done without what you can say, the giving stress to his employees. Fine. Then first one, then it comes what you can say. Third one is, stress can also be caused by the role ambiguity. Fine. This is also one of the main, what you can say, the cause for the stress for the employees, especially for the IT industry people. Fine. What is expected of them? Fine. What is the role ambiguity? In that sense, the when staff do not have to clear their idea objectives, and that there is supposed to be a fulfilling and what is expected from them by others, and to precise the scope of their responsibilities. Yes, of course. See, role ambiguity, what do you mean by role ambiguity? So what people on the other client or the project manager should give, what you can say, the complete clearance, and he should have a complete idea which he has to deliver to his employees, saying that okay, this is what is the objective, this is what is the tools and technology you have to use, and this is how you can come up with that. That basic idea the team leader or the project manager has to have. And what you can say, the role ambiguity should not be there. So he has to clearly mention what is the role of that particular employee. See, there are different types. The tester will be there, the team developer will be there, or what you can say, the business, what you can say, the publicity, the person will be there. So there are different roles and responsibilities assigned to that different what you can say, the aspects. Fine. So here in this case, what is the role of the tester or what is the role of a developer needs to be very clearly assigned and given some idea to that particular employee, so that there should be no ambiguity between what you can say, the roles. Okay, he should be very clear, he should be very firm, and he should be in a position to understand his role, saying that okay, this is what is my task is. Fine. So there should not be any ambiguity. Some is saying like this, some is saying like that, what I have to do. So in that case, there must be an ambiguity between what role. So he has to give a dedicated, what you can say, assign work to that person, and give a complete and clear idea what is to be done by that employee, so that there should not be any kind of a ambiguity should be there. Fine. Then after the role ambiguity, then it comes role conflict can also heighten the stress. How come? How the role conflict is playing a role. So this is where the person is torn between the demands of two different roles. Yes, of course. This also sometimes it has become what you can say, the that person has to listen the both the higher ups. There are with the people with the different opinions. Fine. In the any organization, so we do not what you can say define the same mindset people. They at least in some context or in some format or in some manner their mindset will be different. So there should in some situation what happens, so he has to listen him also to whom to listen, so he is in a confusion. Fine. So that is what that person is getting thrown between the two different mindset people. So that also can what you can say increase or heighten your stress. Fine. So this is what the main causes of your what you can say distress. Fine. So first one is time duration, working duration of an employee has to be decided. Fine. So how much is required, how it can be implemented, how it can be imposed on your employee, that project manager or the team leader has to decide, and so much hours of time, the optimal time has to be given to assigned to those employees so that they can work in a very good environment. So then it comes the extra time those who are working. So whenever it is there are different obstacles comes in your what you can say the path, fine, or in your way, whenever you have to achieve the objectives in very shorter time or something, you can request or you can inform your what you can say the employees so that they can work for the extra time. So that also what you can say the one of the reason, if they get it addicted it for the what you can say on the daily basis, or it has become their role of their day-to-day life, working extra hours means it may also affect their health. That also can be caused your what you can say the stress. Then next one is the role ambiguity. The what you can say the complete information has to be provided by the team leader, what is the role and how it can be analyzed and what can be done. So your employee should not be in a what a dilemma, in a confusion format, what he has to work or something. So next one is role conflict. There are different mindset people, those who are pressurizing the employee to do with their respective this thing. So that employee is in a dilemma, so what to do, whom to adapt or something, so that also can cause a stress. So in IT industry or in any other industry nowadays, it has not dedicated or this thing for the IT industry only. We do have pressure in any type of this thing with at their own level. Fine. So this needs to be taken care. How to mitigate or how to minimize that stress need to be taken care. Fine. So then it comes health and safety. What is this health and safety? So even a management or fine, or even what you can say the company has to take care, organization has to take care the health and the safety of their employees. Fine. The health and safety of their employees. See, sometimes even whenever any organization or something, so they need to have or they need to provide, and they should be in a position to provide what you can say the medical assessment to their employees if something went wrong in between the working hours. Fine. So for example, if any construction of a building or something, the builder or the contractor has to have one dedicated doctor if something went wrong, and a dedicated what you can say the person if there is a problem with the electricity, if there is a problem with lifting the materials to the what you can say the upstairs or something, or into the higher what you can say the floor. In that case, there are many what you can say the different type of situations will come where your employee may face some health issues, related issues. So in that case, your organization or a person who is heading that this thing has to take care of your health and safety measurements to that particular employee. See, for example, there must be a dedicated doctor, there must be a dedicated what you can say the ambulance can be provided in case of emergency. Fine. The first aid should be given to that particular employee, and the regular health checkups can be conducted at the free of cost, or what you can say the at the minimal rate. Fine. So that they can even analyze the what you can say the health rating of his employee or that organization employee, that also can be conducted. So you can observe, so many organizations they are going to conduct a free health checkup for their employee on the regular basis. Fine. And on the limited resources, it is not up to that this thing when it comes under the economic constraints. So for that reason, so they are going to what you can say the conduct those they can conduct a health checkup this thing for the organization. So then also they can what you can say the emergency this thing has to be maintained. In that case, that also is a part of your this thing. The organization has to take care of the health and safety of their employment. So here in this case, what you can say, the various pieces of legislation govern safety policy, and details of these can be consulted and appropriate literature. Fine. So what are the what you can say, the responsibility of safety must be clearly defined at all the levels. So that we will discuss. First, the point one is top management must committed to safety policy. Yes, the higher up, the top level management must committed to the safety policy. Okay, so in other case also, whenever that employee in IT companies and all, so whenever you can spend your money to the health related issues or something, you can even claim up to some extent, that is 70% or 80% of your hospital charges can be provided by your organization. So that also can be an, what you can say, one of the measures of your health and safety concerns as per your considered for your employee. This thing that also can be used. So first one is top management must committed to the safety measurements or the policy. The delegation of responsibility of a safety must be clear. Yes, of course. Then job description should include the definition of a duties related to safety. See here, there are different type of what you can say, the works come into picture in our day-to-day life. They are not similar. Fine. And role of, what you can say, the IT employee will be different. So he is working in his area, that will be different. And some employee, they are working on a, what you can say, the as a labor in some what you can say, the construction of a building or in some any other this thing. So the different levels of, what you can say, the health and safety issues will be there. And some people or the laborers or the workers who are working in a factory, it can be an iron factory or something, there must be some safety measures has to be taken. If something went wrong in between in the working hours or duration, some amount has to be given to that particular employee so that he can survive and lead his life, or some amount is to be given to his what you can say, the family, and some amount of his, what you can say, the charges of the hospital will be bared. Fine. And the what that is what the having ambulance, or what you can say, the dedicated doctor to serve the people. So these are some health and safety measurements can be carried out at the organization level. So then it comes, what you can say, the deployment of a safety officer and a support expert in a technical areas. Okay, so that is what, in a technical area, whenever something went wrong, means you should not say to any the normal or the common worker to resolve that problem. There must be a dedicated expert. In case of electrical work, there will be an expert electrician or the engineer who is going to solve that particular problem. So in that case, you have to have one dedicated person to solve that particular problem. Fine. So that is also one this thing. And adequate budgeting for the safety cost. So some amount you have to kept it dedicated for the employees, how it will be working. So that is what is the health and safety measurement of the your organization has to take care of for a particular employee of that organization. So next thing is some ethical and professional concerns. What is that? So ethical concerns, it is first of all common, and some kind of, what you can say, the professionalism has to be maintained whenever you are working in an organization. Fine. So based on that organization, so how you are working and how your professionalism, that is going to build your identity. Fine. So that is going to build your identity. So based on some, say, the different areas of the sectors, the different this thing, so they do have their own identity. So they do have to maintain that ethical and professional concern should be there in that particular person. Fine. So here, so first one is some ethical responsibilities are shared by all the members of the community regardless of their position. Example, they have mentioned here, some small example, to alert an emergency services whenever serious motor accident has taken place. This is very common. That is what I have told. Irrespective of their position, So it should be in common. So whenever there something went wrong, some accident has happened or something, so intimating to an emergency people or intimating it to the concerned people is an what you can say the normal ethical or the professionalism has to be there. So that is nothing but your what you can say, instead of saying it as an professionalism, it's your responsibility, so that you can take concern of that person. Fine. Then in other way, what you can say is some ethical and professional concerns, what you can say, for example, if you are some people, say for example Mr. X and Mr. Y, those are working in a different, what you can say, the MNCs. Okay, the different MNCs. Mr. X is working in some different MNCs and Mr. Y is working in some different, what you can say, the MNCs. Both are very best friends, they are very good friends, they are childhood friends, even though there should be some, what you can say, the confidentiality has to be maintained between regarding their project and their organization related concerns, that needs to be maintained. So nobody what you can say, the force you, but it should be from your what you can say, the mindset, you have to stick to that. Okay, even though let it be him very close or something, you should not disclose, you should not what you can say, they discuss the different aspects of your company which need not to be discussed, that you need to take care. That is also one kind of what you can say, the professionality or the ethical this thing of that employee has to be there. Then another this thing is, whenever it comes to the marketplace, in the ethical and professionalism concerns, whenever it comes to the marketplace, the people or some organizations, they will not think how to win that competition, they will think how to defeat the others. Fine, how to defeat the other competitors. They will not think of how to win that competition, they will just think how to defeat the other, what you can say, the competitors. So that may also is not a concern of your ethical and professionalism concern. So you also can what you can say, have some concern related to the this thing also, that needs to be taken care. See, if any business wins some aspect of this game, then my competitors must lose. That's just now we discussed. Then investors might lose their money, that also can be there, and the employee may lose their jobs. Fine. So instead of defeating the others, you just say how you can, what you can say, put effort to develop your system so that you can come up with the good product as a result. That also can be taken care. Fine. And the most of the organizations, however, recognize that they do have ethical responsibilities, but this could be purely out of self-interest. Nobody can force you. Fine, nobody can force you. It should be from your this thing. It should be self-interested. Then only it will be having some impact on that. So some ethical and professionalism concerns has to be taken care in this thing. So then the different, what you can say, the reporting structures will be different for the different type of organizations. Fine. So your team leader has to take care of that particular aspect. See, the roles and responsibilities assigned to a different people will be different. Fine. In that case, he has to take care. So how needs to be taken care? So you should not be very, what you can say, commanding. Even you should not be so much requesting. Some moderate kind of this thing has to be maintained by the team leader. So that is what is your ethical and professional concerns in case of your this thing. So that is what is the managing people with the software environments. Okay. So first is your stress. What are the different causes of the stress and how you can suppress or you can minimize the stress by maintaining an healthy environment in your organization. So that we have discussed. Then it comes health and safety measurements, how a team leader or the project manager or the management of an organization has to take care of the health and safety measurements of their employee by providing some basic this thing. So then it comes the ethical and professional concerns. It should be the employee should have their own ethical and responsibilities by their self-interest. Then only what you can say, we can build a healthy environment in a project duration. Fine. Then we will go to the another chapter, that is working in teams. Working in teams. Introduction to working in the teams, how it can be managed. Fine. So then it comes becoming a team. Becoming a team. So then we will discuss some of the, what you can say, the Belbin conclusion. So you can say it as Belbin is a researcher who did the research on this. Belbin's conclusion in forming a team. Fine. Okay. So here mainly we can enhance the communication between the individual developers within a teams or across the teams. Fine. And it also look at how the efforts of individual and teams can be coordinated through communication. Fine. This is also an, what you can say, the main important aspect, and the, what you can say, the task need to be performed by every employee. See, that is what managing a people in an environment will be different. Fine. There are different related issues. Fine. There are different related, what you can say, the mindset. There are different level of what you can say, the obstacles. Fine. And there are different level of situations, because every person is not same. Fine. Every person will not have the same mindset and the situation in every, what you can say, the situation. So here, working in a team, so that you should be have a good, what you can say, the communication, this thing. You should be very humble to listen to others. Okay, you should not be like every time you are going to just commanding. Fine. Every time, so there is a mindset saying that, okay, you have to listen for my words only. That won't work. Okay, you have to listen. Fine. And the different, what you can say, the people have their different mindset and the opinion. Fine. So in that case, you have to listen to everybody. Then you have to give the justification to that based on analyzing the situation. Fine. Without knowing the truth, without knowing the, what you can say, the analyzing the situation, you just, what you can say, you should not scold the, or give some this thing to that particular employee. You know, abuse that employee, you can say it as. So in that case, you have to listen, you have to analyze the situation, then you can come for an optimal this thing. So if you did it for, mistakes have been what you can say, been committed by that particular employee. If, what you can say, not purposely, means you can just give an excuse to him, or you can just, what you can say that, okay, this should not happen, or some kind of a suggestions you can give, and try to, what you can say, the normalize the things. Fine. Then your team will be moving in that case. If you what you can say, should not do any what you can say, the kind of politics or something in that this thing, so you should not favor your person. So that is what is required in case of your working in a team. So how to form a team, that is different. How to form, or what are the different type of people who can balance that team, that is also one aspect. Fine. So if some people who is very good at the, what you can say, the development, okay, he should be 2 or 3% should be there in that team. Tester, they should be there. Some managing the people, they do have a the people those who are having the managerial skills to manage the things, or to normalize the things and keep work going on and get the, what you can say, the best results out of it. For that we do have some dedicated people. So the team has to be managed with all the different type of, what you can say, the persons, fine, with all the different type of mindset, with all the different type of variety of skills, you have to balance the team so that you can get the best output out of it. So that is what is the working in a team, so how it works. So team is usually mean a group of people who are working together. Yes, of course, there is a team, fine. Whenever the work is been assigned or whenever the task is been assigned, we do have to have a one dedicated team to that, that will be working, what you can say, for that particular task, fine. So typically the individuals work, fine, work in the same office, or it may be located or in the same different, what you can say, the department. The people can work together and they can communicate with each other. So the team is created to carry out a joint assignment, fine. Yes, of course. First one, communicational generics, fine, refers to the methods of communication that goes beyond the technological and includes the organizational conventions involved in the communication, fine. So communication should be, what you can say, the very proper, fine, the way how you are talking, the how you are going to communicate to that particular person, the way how you are going to solve the queries, the way how you are going to give the suggestions to that particular employee, that also, what you can say, they make a good impact, how you are going to lead a team, that also matters, fine. Then and collaborative nature of the project work will have an influence on nearby stages of the stepwise project planning framework. Okay, so stepwise project planning framework means, so how you are going to allocate the resource from that, what you can say, the stage it will start, and it will go into the, what you can say, the delivery of that particular project. Till that particular stage you need to maintain, what you can say, that teamwork in the duration. So as a part of first this thing, what you can say, project work or the stepwise project planning, you can say it as, first one is identifying a project scope and objectives. So here the stakeholders in the project are identified and communication channels are established. This is the first phase. This is the one level of, what you can say, whenever it comes to the project, it is not an ready-made or something that you need to, so in sometimes you do have to implement something else which is already existing, and in the some projects it will be from scratch you need to work on, fine. So from whenever the step-by-step procedure means, you just start getting the requirements, then you get the design, okay, so to whom you need to communicate, then whenever there are some situations where you need to take the decisions independently, or sometimes the situation comes where you need to take the suggestion from your higher ups, then you can proceed with your, what you can say, the work. There are different type of scenarios how it will be working. So identify the project scope and objectives. Here the stakeholders of the project are identified and communication channels are established. Okay, fine. So whenever the person who is concerned to that, first they will just go and meet what are the requirements, how it can be done, the time duration is going to analyze, then what is the money, the rate of money is involved in that, what is the profit, what is the duration required to fulfill that, this thing, everything can be analyzed, and the stakeholders will be get connected in that context. So then next step comes with the identify the project infrastructure. Yes, of course, there are different type of projects which comes with the different type of infrastructure. You cannot compare the one project or a simple project with the some, what you can say, the what you can say, the tough or the tedious project job. Fine, the different infrastructure needs to be involved in that. Fine, the different organizations based on their objective and scope, they will be having a different infrastructure. Fine. So here the organization structure within which the project team is exist should be identified. Okay, what are the, what you can say, scope should be provided, what are the, what you can say, the environment is to be provided, the tools and technology required is to be provided, the financial aspect may involved in that. So they need to identify the project infrastructure, then analyze the project characteristics. Yes, decisions made out how the project is to be executed, the buyer versus building the software functionality, what will affect in a team structure needed, because here everything is dependent on the previous step. See, the requirement analysis, it gives some input to your design part of your project. So design part, again they need to communicate with their client or the what you can say, the people who involved in that. They can talk with the what you can say, the stakeholders, they can talk with the what you can say, the audience, and they can talk with the investors, those who have invested the money in that, whether it is possible or not. Okay, this is what is the task been assigned by the people, and this is what is the money involved in that, this is what is the time involved in that, whether it is possible to complete within that time of span of time or not. So that needs to be analyzed over here. So first and foremost thing, each and every phase in a project are interdependent on each other. In somehow they are going to what you can say, they communicate with each other, and they are going to give a kind of input to the next phase in that particular project. So that is how it needs to be maintained. So analyzing the project characteristics is also an important phase. Then it comes estimate effort for each character or the each activity. Yes, so if you are what you can say assigned some amount, or you have a dedicated amount which you have kept it for one project, means it has to be assigned task wise. For example, a development team may get a different amount to be assigned, then the testing team will get a different assigned amount, then a requirement analysis, then for the publicity, then for the revealing, then for the management or what you can say, the managing that particular project. So there are different type of levels involved in that particular project. So based on that stages or in the involvement level, the amount has to be assigned to that. This is also one level step need to be involved in the project, what you can say, the planning. So then it comes the activity risk. What is the risk? That is also an important to what you can say, the analyze. Okay, how much the risk is involved in this. So whenever if you are already worked on the similar kind of a project, means you won't be faced so much difficulties, because already you have gone through such scenarios. So you will come up with the solution because you have already did it. So if it is a very first time you are performing with that particular project, the scenario will be very new. Fine. So you don't know the different aspects involved in that particular project. So in that case, you should be having a market risk or the risk involved in that particular project. So suppose if something went wrong, so what is the amount or something risk involved in that, and how you can overcome that particular risk, that you have to analyze. Without analyzing the risk, you should not invest your time, money, knowledge in any case of or in any scenario. So you have to have, so how much, if this went wrong, what is the possibility or the percentage of loss, or what you can say, the risk I'm going to face, that you need to analyze the market strategies, then you need to start working on that. Fine. Then it comes allocation of the resources, then review and publicize the what you can say, the plan. Okay, so this if in the first phase if it went wrong, then you can revise it and you can come up with the result. So then if there is some problem, again you can revise and you can publish the plan. So that is how this needs to be worked in a team. So this is what is the introduction to a working in teams. Then it comes becoming a team. What is this becoming a team? Let's go. Fine. The first we look at how small work groups where description of a team perhaps and the most apt are formed. Okay. Then simply throwing a people together will not immediately enable them to work together as a team. It is suggested that teams go through 5 basic stages of development. Okay, so becoming a team is not so what you can say, the easy. Just you keeping together all the people, fine. Just throwing him in that particular what you can say, the team, it will not what you can say, in a group it will not become a team. The team should be have some what you can say, the basic stages, some rules and regulations, or in other sense you can have some what you can say, the different of tactics how to deal with that particular the project, that you need to analyze first, and based on the situation you are going to allocate the team in that context. So first one is basic stages. Out of the basic stages, first one is forming. Fine, we will discuss. So first point is, becoming a team, the first point is forming a team. Fine. Forming a team. Second one is storming. Fine. Third one is norming, normalizing the situation. Performing. Then it comes adjourning. Fine. So these are the what you can say, the basic stages of development for becoming a team. So what is that? First one is forming, storming, then what you can say, the norming, fine, performing, adjourning. So in the first case, the members of a group get to know each other and try to set up some what you can say, the ground rules about the behavior. Yes, yes. So here the people will communicate with each other and they will try to know each other, what is the behavior and what is the mindset, how will be working, and in what this thing he is good at, and what he where he can excuse me where he can perform go well. So that can be analyzed in the very first stage, that is forming a what you can say, the team. And in also in forming a team, so there is what you can say, the how the people are going to perform in that task, that is very important. Performing the task is very important. Just assigning the task is not so important, but performing on that team or performing on that work is also what you can say, very important aspect over here. See, we do have what you can say, some technicians involved in that, some marketing people involved in that, some developer involved in that, some testers involved in that, and all together they can group a team and assign to some particular project. So here performing a task is very important deal in case of your forming a team. That is first point, that is forming. Then second it comes storming. Okay, conflicts arise in a various members of the group try to exert the leadership and the group's method of operation being established. Okay, storming means, so if any conflicts between what you can say, the different mindset people, so then you should be in a position to handle that situation and as per the norms and regulations. Fine. Then norming, conflicts are largely settled and a feeling of a group identity emerges. Fine. So you just try to normalize the things as much as possible. So then you need to try to come out of results for that particular what you can say the output for that project. Then performing, the emphasis is on now task at hand. Fine, you have assigned that particular task and they started working in that, that is performing. Then after the performing, adjourning, that the group disbands, that you are going to close that particular this thing. So first one is forming, you need to what you can say, the normalize, you need to what you can say, the identify the people, those who are let him understand their own behavior or the each other's behavior, and you are going to decide that he is good at what. So then it comes storming, you need to analyze the things and based on your level you need to suppress the things if any conflicts between the people between the same what you can say, the team. Then normalizing, performing, then actually the performation or the execution of the project will occur, then it comes adjourning. So after all performing, we are going to close the group or the disband that group. So next part we will continue in a further session. Thank you.